Hey folks, Jang here from UltimateRC.com with a look at the ECX, formerly Electric's RC, Torment. This is a two-wheel drive, entry-level short course truck, available for about $160. I've previously tested the ECX Circuit, which is a stadium truck, and their Boost, which is a buggy, but unfortunately the Torment is not based on either of those. It's based on the Ruckus Monster truck, which means that it has this high center of gravity, the high-mounted chassis, sort of like a Traxxas Stampede or Traxxas Slash. It would have been nicer if everything was low to the ground. Now, aside from that center chassis section, most of what you'll find on the vehicle is the same as on the Circuit Stadium truck. The entire front end and the entire rear end and transmission assembly is the same stuff you'll find on the Circuit. Most of the suspension parts are made from a very thick plastic with a little bit of flexibility to it, and the shocks are plastic also with no threaded bodies. You use preload clips to adjust your ride height. That big gray cap conceals the steering servo and a 2.4 GHz receiver. And the battery hold-down system of the Electrics or ECX vehicles is one of the nicer little features they added on here. Two little thumb screws, comes right off. This Dynamite 1800 mAh nickel metal hydride 7.2 volt battery is included, and in my tests it seems to carry more like 2000 mAh. It's a little bit underrated. The ESC is a Dynamite brushed only system with a Tamiya plug pre-installed, nothing to write home about, and the motor is an old sealed can 20 turn, kind of like the old popular Traxxas Stingers. The transmission does have plastic gears in it, but everything rides on ball bearings. The tires have a medium hard compound and kind of an all-terrain, long-lasting tread design, and the wheels have a proprietary offset, a little bit narrower than Slash rears and wider than Losi and Associated style. The real gem in the box is this genuine Spectrum DX2E radio controller. Now for a Spectrum, it does not have many features. You have manual switches for changing your throttle reversing, you've got trims, and you've got dual rate, and that's about it. It also only takes 4 AA batteries, and ECX does include those in the package for you. What can't be conveyed on video is just how good this thing feels in the hand. It has a really nice comfortable grip, great balance, a lightweight throttle trigger, and not much bounce in the steering wheel. The best feeling controller I've ever had in my hands from any entry-level RTR. Top speed of the ECX Torment on perfectly flat level ground was radared at right around 17 miles per hour. As the battery and motor both get broken in, you can expect that to rise by, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 miles per hour. Still pretty slow as modern day hobby grade RCs go. And the worst part is that even just driving on fairly flat gravel like this, there's not enough torque to keep up with that top speed, so it bogs down. Now swap in a cheap LiPo pack, even a $25 sport pack like this, and it really livens up the vehicle. More significant than the increase in top speed is that it doesn't have a lot of voltage drop when it's under load. As a result, you get much better acceleration, and it doesn't bog down as much when it's going over bumps. With LiPo power, it could actually kick the rear end out, and that's pretty fun. The tires were performing a little bit better than I expected. The rubber compound might not be very soft, but the tread design seems to work pretty well. Forward bite is really good, side bite is decent, and they feel consistent from turn to turn. On the track is where the ECX Torment really impressed me. It's definitely not set up for racing, but it gets around the track just fine. With the battery situated in the forwardmost position, it had just a little bit of on-power oversteer, but off-power it was pretty neutral. I didn't experience understeer anywhere. Flight through the air over jumps is about as good as I could ask for. The body definitely experiences some parachute effect, but at these speeds it's not that significant. The tires, again, experienced a little bit of lack of side bite, especially at the rear, but forward bite is very good, and they never surprised me. They always pretty much gave exactly the amount of traction in the direction that I expected. No sudden sliding or hooking. Again, another thing that I can't really describe through the video is just how good this thing feels to drive. It's just nice. There's a great connection between driver and controller and vehicle. Now, because of the low price of the ECX vehicles and because they're really targeted towards more entry-level hobbyists, they are going to get beat upon probably more than your average RCs. Can they survive? For the answer to that, I have to turn to the things that normally break on RCs when you beat on them are front suspension components. A-arms and hub carriers and steering knuckles and shock towers and stuff like that. No problems with any of that. Bumper mounts, everything's all good. But look at this over here on the left side. Yep, that's a half of an axle slider shaft. It didn't break, it just popped out. This is the weak point on the ECX vehicles, but normally folks only encounter it when upgrading to a brushless system. Much to my surprise, I had one of those pop out twice during this test. Now, ECX does sell a set of drive shaft rings that are supposed to solve that problem, but I got a set of those and they're just horrible. They're very difficult to put on. You have to do modifications, and once you put them on, they either bind strangely or they just don't work at all. Visit the ECX forum at ultimaterc.com and you'll find a user post explaining how to adapt Traxxas VXL drive shafts to fit right on your ECX vehicle, and that'll solve the problem for you permanently. That is, if you have the problem in the first place. The first two ECX vehicles I tested did not encounter this problem. I might have just gotten unlucky this time. So to sum it up, the truck is a little slow and especially sluggish right out of the box. Although, interestingly enough, thinking back to when I first started in the hobby, my very first hobby grade RC was exactly this speed, and I loved it. I've also loaned ECX cars of this exact same speed to a couple of newbies, and it was perfect for them. Throw in a better battery, and it doesn't have to be a LiPo, it just needs to be better. The excitement level definitely goes up. Come to think of it, it could also do for a better motor, some better tires, better servo, better center of gravity. You know what? Objectively speaking, just about everything about this truck could be better. But I don't think it needs to be. If you look around, you can find this for $160 shipped to your door with the Spectrum system, with the AA's for the Spectrum system, and with a battery and basic wall charger. For the overall experience and performance that I got out of this truck for the price, I really cannot complain. It's a great value. Whether you're a brand new newcomer to hobby level RCs, or you're a veteran looking for a little extra enjoyment on the side on the cheap, or have something extra to loan out to friends and family and other folks at the local RC racing facility, the ECX Torment is definitely worth checking out. So that's it from me for now. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to post them up in the ECX forum at the friendly forums at ultimaterc.com. I hope to see you there, and I'll yak at you again soon.